Welcome back to War of the Ring in Middle-earth, where the Free Peoples are having a rough time with the forces of Shadow. Yeah, things are looking kind of grim. We've got Gandalf the White out now, though, so that's okay. I hope he can help turn the tide, but we do have Dol Amroth under siege, Minas Tirith under siege, Lorien under siege. Yeah, it's not looking good. The men of Gondor are beaten down pretty badly. We have Saruman here with absolute huge force on the borders of Rohan. But it is now the Free People's turn. We've got 3 dice remaining. We have 4 dice remaining for the Shadow player. And yes, I put a Nazgul on top of the Shadow dice. Many, many moons ago in the very first episode, I forgot to put a Nazgul in Minas Tirith with the armies. So the Shadow player has been down 1 Nazgul this whole time. But I'm not going to be putting it on the board now. I just wanted to make you aware of that. On my initial setup, I messed up. Anyway, let's continue. Let's go down to the Free People's dice and have them take an action. We, as the Free People's player, are in such a bad situation. We have 3 eyes in the hunt for the ring box. Really wanted to use one of the character dice to move the Fellowship. We've got to get the Fellowship to Mount Doom. And I think we're going to have to do that. Oh man, let's give that a try. We're going to use a character die. We are going to move the Fellowship 1 space on the Fellowship track, and then the forces of Sauron are going to look for the Fellowship, hunt for them. Ooh, let's hope they do not find them. We've been extremely lucky up to this point, and now that I've said that, of course, I've jinxed it. So we're going to move from 5 to 6 on the Fellowship track. So we're 6 spaces away from Rivendell somewhere. But the Shadow player doesn't know it. But now it's time to hunt for the ring. So the Shadow player is going to be rolling 3 dice, and they're going to find, or they're going to pull a tile out of the hunt bag if they roll a 6. So let's get to rolling those dice and see if the Fellowship is in trouble or not. I just have a bad feeling about this. 3 eye dice in the hunt for the ring box. This is us moving the Fellowship. Yes, I'm using the red dice now for the Sauron player. Let's not see a 6, please. Oh, yes. Oh, man, we got so lucky. I was so nervous about that. A 4 and a 2 and a 1. The Fellowship remains hidden somewhere out in Middle-earth. Oh, we really needed that to happen. Now, of course, this die is going to go into the box. If we try to move again this turn, which we can, Sauron player will be rolling 3 dice, but they only need a 5 or 6 to find us. So I doubt we're going to move again. But now it's over to the Sauron player. All right, the Sauron Shadow player has 4 dice left. They are going to be using their event die to play an event card. Oh man, which event card are they going to play? They're playing this one, which says the Nazgul Strike. Oh, that sounds great. Play if the Fellowship is on step 1 or higher of the Fellowship track. They're on step 6. Then if at least 1 Nazgul is in the region with the Fellowship, while they're not. So we get to move any or all of the Nazgul. So that's basically why they're playing this card. The other one's not going to take effect. So they are going to move any and or all of their Nazgul. So let's go ahead and have them do that. The Nazgul are on the move. The one from Dol Amroth is going to fly over here to Minas Tirith. One of the ones from Lorien is going to fly over here to Minas Tirith. There's now 4 there, and the other one from Lorien is going to fly to Minas Tirith. So I wonder what's happening here. We've got 5 Nazgul now congregated at Minas Tirith. Oh man, that is not good at all for the men of Gondor, I think. All right, back to the Free People's player to see, oh my goodness, what we want to do. Tense, very tense. Well, we've got a couple of options, of course. We can move companions out in the world, Middle-earth. We can play a character card that has this on it. We only have one card to play, and it is the Athelos card, which really doesn't do us any good at all. And we have a Palantir. We can play a card, event card, or we can draw an event card. I think we're going to draw an event card because I feel like we're going to get beat on by the forces of Sauron at Minas Tirith. Maybe we can draw a good event card to help us stave off that attack. So we're going to be drawing a strategy card. So I'm going to take the strategy card off the top of the deck. If my slippery fingers can grab it. And what did we get? Through a day and a night. Ooh, or confusion. So this is playing the Free People's Army containing a companion. Okay, that would be Minas Tirith. Move the army containing a companion up to 2 regions. The regions must be free for purposes of any movement. No Free People's units may be picked up or dropped off along the way, other than possibly splitting the initial army. But I like this confusion. Every unmodified die result of a 1 in the shadow player's combat roll scores 1 hit against a shadow army. Ooh, I like. Any such result cannot be rolled again after the shadow player's leader reroll. Any such cannot be rolled again during the shadow player's leader. Oh, so the shadow player, if they roll a 1, can't use it to reroll. Oh, I like it. Wow, that was actually a good choice for us. All right, back to the shadow player. Let's see what they're going to do. All right, it's back to the shadow player, and they are going to use a muster die. They're going to do some mustering. Oh man, they're just sitting there beating their war drums. Jeez. All right, they're going to do some mustering. Well, let's see what they're going to do. All right, it looks like the forces of Sauron are going to do some recruiting in 2 of their different settlements. They're going to recruit a regular unit in Dol Guldur and a regular unit in Moria. All right, well, that's it for their recruiting. Over we go now to the Free People's player. We have 1 die remaining. It's a character die, so let's see what we're going to do with that. And here we are with our lonely die. Now we could try to move the Fellowship again, but there's 3 dice in the hunt pool, and the hunt would be successful on a 5 or 6. That's just too risky. We're going to use the character die, our final one for the Free Peoples, and we are going to separate a companion from the Fellowship. We are going to separate Gimli, son of Gloin. So he will be separating from the Fellowship. Now the Fellowship is at 6 on the Fellowship track, and Gimli's movement or leadership ability is 2, so he's going to be able to move 8 spaces away from Rivendell, which is exactly what I want him to do, because that was going to take him to Erebor. So let's take a look at his abilities. Captain of the West. If Gimli's in battle, add 1 to the combat strength of the Free People's armies. You can still roll a maximum of 5 combat dice. Cool, and he's good for 1 reroll. And he's a dwarf of Erebor. If Gimli is in Erebor, which he will be, and Erebor is unconquered, which it is, it's not conquered yet, you may use any action die result to advance the Dwarven nation 1 step on the political track. So he is going to head out from the Fellowship and try and activate, get the dwarves into this war. We're going to need all the help we can get. Our Free Peoples are besieged on all sides. This is not good. All right, let's get moving. Gimli over to Erebor, and then we're going to activate the Dwarven nation. And Erebor is way up here in the north, but we have Gimli splitting off from the Fellowship here, so it's 6 on the track. He has a movement of 2. We're going to go Fords of Brunnen 1, High Pass 2, Goblin's Gate 3, Old Ford 4, Carrock 5, Northern Mirkwood 6, Withered Heath 7, Erebor. Gimli shows up with his fellow dwarves in Erebor for his 8th movement, and that is going to activate the dwarves. Let's go to the political track and activate them. All right, good stuff, Gimli. So we're going to be activating the dwarves. It's this little shield symbol here. They are now activated, which means they can move down the political track. And because Gimli is now in Erebor, we can use any action die to move the dwarves down the track, not just a muster die. So that's going to come in handy. And plus we do get one extra die next turn because we have Gandalf the White happening. So he gives us an extra die. All right, 2 dice left for the shadow player. Let's get to it. The 2 dice remaining are an army muster or a muster. Once again, the forces of Sauron are going to muster. Ooh. Let's go to the board and find out where they're going to be bringing in yet more units, because they need them. All right, so they have opted to bring in 1 leader, which is a Nazgul, and 1 regular unit. So they're going to bring in a leader at Minas Morgul, and they're going to go to another location to bring in 1 regular unit. And back we go to Dol Guldur. So they're going to recruit another regular unit there. So I don't know what they're doing up there in the north. Obviously they've got the elves besieged in Lorien. Maybe they're trying to get some extra troops to bring over there to crush them once and for all. Maybe they're figuring out they want to head north and take on the men. I don't know. They do have 1 action die left for this turn, so let's find out what they're going to do with it. And their final action die is an army muster. They're going to use it as an army die, and you would be thinking they are going to attack, which they probably should, but they're going to use it to move 2 armies. Ooh. All right, let's get to the board and find out where their army movement is going to be happening. All right, and the 2 armies are going to move. They are going to move the army right here at Polargar into Losnarch, which is a settlement for Gondor. And what happens is that settlement is now taken over by the forces of evil. So that means that the only place left in Gondor that can recruit troops is Minas Tirith, but it happens to be under siege, so it's probably not going to be happening. And now this army of 6 regulars is going to move to Osgiliath, so I have to try to make sure I don't get these units all mixed together, because these guys are in Osgiliath, not anywhere else. So they're moving the 1 space here. Gee, I wonder if they're coming to reinforce Minas Tirith. The siege of Minas Tirith. So wow, another pretty sizable army on the way. And 5 Nazgul at Minas Tirith as well. Oh man. And that takes us to the end of all the action dice. I think we have time here at the end of this video to get everything set up for the action die turn for next time. So we're going to be collecting the dice now into the dice pools and getting 2 more event cards for both sides. Alright, it's time to collect dice, and we've got the 5 dice we've used for the shadow player, the 3 that were in the hunt box. We have now 5 dice for the free peoples because we have Gandalf the White out. Of course, they have Saruman out, so their initial 8 dice have now become, their initial 7 dice have now become 8. That's the dice pool. 2 cards collected for the Sauron player, and 2 for the free peoples. So we have a strategy card, and we have a character card. So we're going to take a look a little closer at those and see what they've got to say for themselves. Alright, I've kind of zoomed out a bit because I find if I zoom in too much it gets all fuzzy and unclear anyway. So we have there and back again. Separate from the fellowship 1 companion or a group of companions. You may move them 1 extra region. Wow, right now that would be really, really far. Then, if Gimli or Legolas are in the Dale, Erebor, or the Woodland Realm, activate the dwarves and the North Nations, and advance the Dwarven, the Elven, and the North Nations 1 step each political track. That's awesome. That gets the men into the war and the dwarves, moving them all down the political track. That is so good. We also have Brave Stand that will play the companions in the battle. The shadow player rolls 1 die less in his combat roll for each companion in the battle to a minimum of 1. Well, we have Gandalf the White, and we have Merry in Helm's Deep. That could come in handy too, but it's a very good card for either section. Then we have Guards of the Citadel, which is also very, very good for the free peoples. Recruit 1 Gondor unit, regular or elite, and 1 Gondor leader in Minas Tirith. And yes, you can do that even if they're under siege. You just do this card effect, trumps the at siege. You just can't use a muster die to muster into Stronghold at siege, but you can use cards. Then we have charge. Play if the Free People's elite unit is in the battle. For the combat roll an additional attack using only the Free People's elite units up to a maximum of 5. Okay, that might come in handy sometime, but this one's probably going to trigger first and apply the result immediately. So those are the cards we got for the Fellowship Free People's player. Now it's time to roll the masses of dice. No, it's not time to do that. Sorry, jumping myself ahead of time. Now it's time to do the Fellowship phase. Are we going to reveal a location or change leaders? Let's get to that and find out. Sauron so far has been very unsuccessful in finding any hint of where the Fellowship might be. They're at 6 on the track right now. We could reveal them somewhere, but I don't think we're going to. They have no corruption, which again is also incredible. However, the armies of Sauron and Saruman, Easterlings and Southern units, are crushing the Free Peoples very quickly. So, but we're not going to reveal the Fellowship. We're not going to change the leader. We can't. Strider is the leader of the Fellowship. He's the highest leader level right now, and so we can't change it to either Legolas or Boromir, even if we wanted to. That's it. So let's go to the hunt allocation phase now, where the Sauron player must place at least 1 die in the hunt box because we did move the Fellowship this turn. All right, let's get to it. Okay, Sauron player with his 8 dice, going to put 1 in the hunt box. He's pretty confident. He's not too concerned about the ring at the moment. He's more concerned about crushing the men and the Free Peoples of Middle-earth. All right, and now it is time to roll those masses of dice, and after that, I think we're going to wrap up our episode for today. Time to roll up the dice. 2, 4, 6, 7 dice for the Shadow Player. Let's see what they get. They get absolutely no eyeballs this time, which means they are going to have a ton of stuff they can do. They've got, well, they have lots of options. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a nasty turn next turn for the Free Peoples, but let's take a look and see what the Free Peoples are going to roll. So you can kind of see what the dice are. There, you know what they are now. All right, let's see what we get for Free Peoples. Good stuff, I hope. And we get, well, what do we get? We get a couple character dice. That's good for moving. Ooh, that's very good for moving the ring to Mount Doom. A couple of muster army movements and a palantir. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Not as many as the Shadow Player. All right, that's the dice pool. Oh boy. And that's going to be the end of our episode. I'm going to zoom out. We're going to take a look at what's happening right now in Middle-earth and wrap it up for today. As I mentioned earlier in the playthrough, it's a long game, but it's just such a tense game with so much cool stuff happening. Right now, though, it looks like the Shadow Player has got the vice grips right on the private parts of the Free Peoples, and that's just not good. I don't know what Saruman's doing here. He's just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. So I don't know. This is just getting a little bit crazy. We can't really get Rohan to war as the Free Peoples, so they're 2 spaces away. I've been kind of waiting for Saruman to pull the trigger here and attack the Fords of Isen, but he hasn't. Which means if I want to get Rohan to war and start recruiting units, I have to use dice to move them down the political track. And I've kind of been wanting to use the dice for other things. So he's playing some kind of game, mind game there. We got Minas Tirith in big trouble. 5 Nazgul now. Oh my goodness. Lorien in trouble. Only 3 regular units defending Lorien and a leader. And Dol Amroth just has 2 regulars and a leader and a whole bunch of southern armies. Yeah, this is bad. And the Free Peoples have 1 victory point towards military victory already for taking Pelargir. But we do have the Fellowship at 6. Now, I do believe we have to be at 10 to get to Morannon. So we have to move the Fellowship 4 more times before we can get them. on the track to toss the ring into the crack of doom. It's possible, though, for us to move 2 times next time because we have 2 sword symbols. We have Strider as the leader, which means he can use any die to hide the fellowship. So if we do become revealed through a successful hunt, which hasn't happened yet in this entire playthrough, Strider will be able to hide them again. You can't move the fellowship unless they're hidden, so as you know. And there's only 1 die in the hunt for the ring box. So, wow, I don't know. Next turn's going to get pretty ugly. So I hope you'll join me then. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes. Really appreciate it. And yeah, join me next time for the continuation of the War of the Ring. Oh man, just keeps getting more and more tense. I don't know. Thanks so much. And we'll see you in the next episode.